artist is coming up to the stage. Their name is Skyler Reed. Skyler Reed is an artist, writer, and musician living in Portland, Oregon. They're the founder of Moved by Words, a project dedicated to connecting new writers with writing communities. Skyler is the former Oregon Folklife Slam champion. Ooh, now you had my interest. Now you have my attention. I'm a slam poet. Has been featured at Invisible Spectrum Storytelling Series, and is published in Voicemail Poems and Rise, Survivance, Indigenous Poesis. I'm sorry, I hope I got that right. Skyler is the author of 2 chapbooks titled All Ampersands from 2016 and Sex and Wikipedia in 2017. Let's welcome them up to the stage. Skyler Reed.
Thank you. When I grow up, I want to be a woman as beautiful as Leah Bear. The fall of the house of Grammy award-winning R&B singer and producer Usher Raymond IV. Hold on, I'm going to get set up and I'm going to say that again. Barista, antifascista. Is this the broken one? I got the broken one. The fall of the house of Grammy award-winning R&B singer and producer Usher Raymond IV. I have taken but few turns in this manner when a light step on an adjoining staircase arrested my attention. I presently recognized it as that of the late 1990s American singer and superstar R&B producer, Usher. In an instant afterward, Usher, producer of the Billboard Hot 100, #1 track, Nice and Slow, rapped with a gentle touch at my door, and entered bearing a lamp. His countenance was, as usual, cadaverously wan. But moreover, there was a species of mad hilarity in his eyes, and evidently restrained hysteria in his whole demeanor. His air appalled me, but anything was preferable to the solitude to which I so long endured, and I even welcomed his presence and the copy of his 2001 two-time Grammy-winning album, 8701, as a relief. And you have not seen it, he said abruptly, after having stared about him for some moments in silence. You have not then seen it, but stay, you shall. Thus speaking, and having carefully shaded his lamp, he took out a gold-plated album copy of his hit single, Climax, and threw it freely into the storm. The impetuous fury of the entering gust nearly lifted us from our feet. It was, indeed, a tempestuous yet sternly beautiful night, and one wildly singular in its terror and its beauty. A whirlwind had apparently collected its force in our vicinity, for there were frequent and violent alterations in the direction of the wind, and the exceeding density of the clouds, which hung so low as to press upon the turrets of the house. Edgar Allan Poe, eat your heart out. Did not prevent our perceiving the lifelike velocity which they flew, careering from all points against each other, without passing away into the distance. I say that their exceeding density did not prevent our perceiving this, yet we had no glimpse of the moon or stars, nor was there any flashing forth of the lightning. Oh my. But the undersurfaces of the huge masses of agitated vapor, as well as all terrestrial objects immediately around us, were glowing. Other way. We're glowing. Wait, no, other way. We're glowing. Tommy. They were glowing in the unnatural light of a faintly luminous and distinctly visible gaseous exhalation which hung about and enshrouded the mansion. You must not! You shall not behold this, said I, shudderingly, to 8-time Grammy Award winner and Atlanta native, Usher Raymond IV, as I led him with a gentle violence from the window to a seat. These appearances which bewilder you are merely electrical phenomena not uncommon. Or may it be that they have their ghastly origin, I'm going to lose my pants, in the rank miasma of the tarn. The tarn. The tarn, Jane. The tarn. Let us close this casement. The air is chilling and dangerous to your frame. Here is one of your favorite romances. The Billboard Hot 100 charting top 10 single. You Make Me Wanna. And so we will pass away this terrible night together. The antique vow. Shit! God damn it. That wasn't supposed to happen. The antique volume of which I had taken up was the mad tryst of... That's not working the way I planned. Of Sir Lancelot. Somewhere this is hot, but not here. But I had called it a favorite of Usher's. The 8-time Grammy Award winner, an Atlanta native and father of 2. More in sad jest than in earnest, for, in truth, there is little in which is uncouth and unimaginative prolixity which can have had an interest for the lofty and spiritual ideality of my friend. It was, however, the only book immediately at hand. The only book immediately at hand. And I indulged a vague hope that the excitement, which now, it's really cold up here, now agitated the hypochondriac. These pages are sticky. Might find relief, for the history of mental disorder is full of similar anomalies, even in the extremeness of folly for which I could read. Could I have judged, indeed, by the wild, overstrained air, the wild, overstrained air of vivacity with which he hearkened, or apparently hearkened, to the words of the tale, I might well have congratulated myself upon the success of my design. I had arrived at that well-known portion of the story where Ethelred, the hero of the tryst, having sought in vain for peaceable admission into the dwelling of the hermit, proceeds to make good an entrance by force. Here it will be remembered the words of the narrative ran thus. And Ethelred, who was by nature of a doughy heart, and who was now mighty withal, on account of the powerfulness of the wine which he had drunken, had waited no longer to parley with the hermit, who, in sooth, was of an obstinate and maliceful turn, but feeling the rain upon his shoulders, and fearing the rising of the tempest, uplifted his mace outright, and that's not going to work, and with blows made quickly room, it's hard to read and also undress, made quickly room in the plankings of the door for his gauntleted hand. That was easier. And now pulling herewith sturdily, he so cracked and ripped and tore all asunder that the noise of the dry and hollow sounding wood alarummed and reverberated throughout the forest. At the termination of this sentence I started and for a moment paused. For it appeared to me, although I had once concluded that my excited fancy had deceived me, it appeared to me that from some very remote portion of the mansion there came, indistinctly, to my ears, what may have been in this exact similarity of character. The echo. But a stifled and done one, certainly the echo of the very cracking and ripping sound which Sir Lancelot had so particularly described. It was so beyond a doubt the coincidence alone which had arrested my attention, for amid the rattling of the sashes of the casements, my pants around my ankles, and the ordinary commingled noises of the still increasing storm, the sound in itself had nothing, surely, which should have interested or disturbed me. I continued the story. But the good champion Ethelred, now entering within the door, was sore, enraged, and amazed to perceive no signal of the maliceful hermit, but instead thereof a dragon of a scaly and prodigious demeanor, and of a fiery tongue, which sate in guard before a palace of gold, with a floor of silver, and upon the wall, to the window, to the wall hung a shield of shining brass, with this legend enwritten: Who entereth herein, a conqueror hath been, who slayeth the dragon, the shield he shall win. And Ethelred uplifted his mace, and struck upon the head of the dragon, which fell before him, and gave up his pesty breath. His pesty breath, with a shriek so horrid and harsh, and withal so piercing, that Ethelred had fain to close his ears with his hands against the dreadful noise of it, the like whereof was never before heard. Here again I paused abruptly, and now with a feeling of wild amazement, for there could be no doubt whatever that Usher, the recording artist with 8 albums to his name, and who is responsible for selling over 180 million copies worldwide. In this instance, I actually did hear, although from what direction it proceeded, I found it impossible to say. A low and apparently distant but harsh, protracted, and most unusual screaming or grating sound. The exact counterpart of what my fancy had already conjured up for the dragon's unnatural shrink, as could be described by multi-platinum selling American recording artist Usher Raymond IV, the romantic